Welcome to the Onsy side quest, is what I'm going to start calling these little smaller videos. They're going to be my side quests from now on. So after the last stream, where we talked a lot about, the struggles of streaming and content creation, I know me and Ghostly had kind of veered off in our own little world and touched on so many different subjects. And to be able to come back to the overall struggle of it all is either time management or it comes down to the fact of mental health. And me and Ghostly are going to be doing a whole podcast on mental health, men's perspective versus women's perspective. I'm going to be looking into some books and stuff like that, or some sites or stuff like that for you guys to look into, and some sources, just so they're in the description below on that podcast. I am very glad I did the switch, but I do want to talk on some of the points that me and Ghostly had talked about, time management. There are people out there that work 40+ hour weeks that still manage to stream. If your heart's not in it, you're not going to want to do it. It's just like anything in life. If you don't have the passion for it and you feel like it's a forceful thing, maybe take some time and reflect on yourself and work on some of that inner workload. Because the way I look at it is, as someone who has struggled with the content creating and the streaming aspect of it all, we all have that overloading power of, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do this, we need to do that. And we then start coming up with the excuses on why we can't do things because our energy level is so depleted from putting our time and space elsewhere. That also being said, streaming is a very negative space majority of the time. I know a lot of us do try to keep it as an upbeat, positive thing. But when there's the people that are lurking and they catch you and, you get that glimpse of that viewer count, it's not where you want it to be at. And then your body language changes if you have a camera. Your tone changes if you don't. You get that mentality of over talking about nothing because you do that panic mode of, oh, well, I need to do something because they can't see me. So you got to keep that dialect going. Time management is on you and yourself alone. I have been there for people who have had struggles on where to start or how to keep things going. I've been the buffer in the chat for people, when you just see nothing going on. If I have the time, I sit down and I'll start talking in the chat because there's nobody else talking. Because it just takes that one person to sit there and talk enough that eventually more people come in and talk. Now, the struggles with the actual making of the extra content, the things that draw your viewers in from other platforms. Do what you think is funny to your content. And if you're second guessing it, ask someone who is a big part of your community who knows your content well enough to be like, hey, can you look this over? I don't want to post it yet because I'm second guessing it. Can you help me? Ask for help if you need it. I know a lot of us struggle with that. And a lot of us internalize and over second guess ourselves and overanalyze every little bit of our content. And I know a lot of you guys are like me. I don't like to listen to myself talk. Because for me, it's weird hearing myself talk back to myself, if that makes sense. I don't like going through my old VODs and listening to my voice for hours because it's weird to sit there and listen to myself because I've never really been a fan of my voice. I've been told, don't do it. No, it's not a big deal. I get it. I am overcoming that now. Especially with the podcast stuff because I have to actually edit it before posting it. So I sit here and edit it and have to listen to myself. I definitely got better in the last year and a half of editing my VODs and going through clips and piecing them together and making TikToks. They don't get the greatest, bestest views, but they get views. And you know, it's that trial and error where you're gonna find what clicks for you, and you're gonna find other amazing apps or websites and things that can do the auto clipping if that is your issue. I myself use Eclipse. It's pretty good depending on the content you're putting out, depending on what games you're playing. It's there are variables. There's some games that it's like, okay, that what didn't need to be a clip. That's like 2 seconds off from where I would have clipped it. And that's where going back and going through your VODs. And the best way to keep your VODs from going like disappearing and stuff like that, so you can go back and check them later, is edit them as a highlight. And then that way they stay, they don't get removed. Just a thought if you're looking to go down that road. I was trying to say route and road at the same time, and words are hard. It's also midnight my time when I should not be doing this at midnight. I think me and Ghostly on Saturday night stream touched on a lot of good topics. And honestly, when you're having a heavy mental health load, to make content in general is really, really hard. It's a struggle. And I think we all feel it, but nobody wants to talk about it. And you know, I sit there and I watch these videos on how all these other content creators are like, oh yeah, push through it, you know, just push past it. Pretty much push it aside and just keep going with your content. I want to stop that because it's not healthy. I did that for a long time. And I wish I hadn't. But that's what all the big streamers are doing, right? They push past that. They make themselves. For myself, I needed those breaks. And if your community can't understand the fact that you need to take care of your own mental health, no matter how long it takes you, they're not really part of your community. I hate to say it like that, but let's not sugarcoat things. I've had to take a lot of breaks in the last year. Last year I got a new job. I had to take a break. I took all summer off. I didn't come back to streaming till September, end of August, September. Because I knew for my own mental health and my own sanity, taking on my new job and training and everything else in a field I've never been in, was something I need to take the break for and focus on my family and my time. And in the last 6 months, I've taken a few breaks actually, just to deal with in life stuff. I think also as a content creator, you have to realize that any actions you do on the internet are going to come into light. So make sure that your actions are speaking to your content and the way that you portray yourself. I see a lot of content creators tearing each other down. It saddens me, and I don't like to watch it. I think there are really important points in here that needed to be talked about, and I feel like they needed to be talked about. The negativity in the streaming world is insane. People are either being made to feel like they're not going anywhere, that they have to do their content in a certain way to grow. And let's be real, the internet's full of keyboard warriors that have no idea what real life stuff is about. And I know I kind of circled around the content creations and the struggles and everything on Saturday, but it all came back to it. And you know, that kind of intellectual conversation should be something that's on a podcast, in my opinion. You know, two healthy minded, well, None of us are technically fully healthy minded, but you know, two intellectual people having an intellectual conversation, even on different ends of the spectrum of a conversation, different point of views, being able to say, yeah, okay, you got a point, and have a healthy conversation about it should be okay. We're adults, and let's be real. Let's be a better freaking example for the younger generation than what we have been. Doing podcasts is what I've always kind of wanted to do. So I'm doing it. And now I can voice my opinions. I can say what I want. But I'm trying to slowly move my content from streaming, gameplay, to podcasts, just chatting, having the real conversations in life, having, you know, just intelligent conversations with people. I think intelligent conversations nowadays are so rare and hard to have because so many people are, they're not listening to have the conversation. And for those of you who have actually made it this far, and what I'm going to start calling my little side quests. Thank you, Ghostly, for that idea. I know this one's a little all over the place. I've had to do a lot of editing on this one because I kind of went into in-depth rants on things that didn't really line up with how it was supposed to go. So if there's edits that look weird, or little spots cut out really weird, I've done it on purpose. Because I found the good parts in this, and I wanted to keep it. I wanted to use it. I didn't want to just scrap it all. So thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking it out this far. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you know of any other topics that you would like to see discussed between me and some other members of my community, let me know in the comments. If you want to say it anonymously, I do have an email set up. I will be posting it in the description below. But thank you. Thank you for making it this far. Because this podcast journey isn't easy. It's not something I'm used to doing. And I promise as time goes on, this content will get better. It'll become smoother. And I guarantee you there will be more side quests. Because sometimes these just can't be helped. So, thank you for your support. Be unique. Be you. And be imperfectly perfect. I will catch you guys on the next side quest or podcast. So keep your eyes out. And I hope to see you around.